Okay, so this is my first video blog in English. It's just stopped raining, finally. And this kind of reminded me of the importance of pain, in your journey to reaching success, basically. So, what I'm here to suggest is that pain is actually good for you, and in fact, it's kind of necessary in order for you to, succeed and become the best at whatever you want to become good at, right? So people in general always try to avoid pain. I mean, that's pretty normal. Nobody likes to be miserable. Everyone wants to, minimize the effort they have to put out and maximize what they get in return. They want to be as happy as possible. No one wants to be miserable and sad. That's pretty normal. Okay, but what I'm here to suggest is that pain is something necessary. It's something necessary in order for you to reach that happiness, because without stress, pain, feeling bad, happiness kind of loses its meaning. The same thing with the rain, right? Most people are pretty happy. Oh, it's a sunny day, cool, right? But if there were no rainy days, we wouldn't, enjoy the sunny days in the first place, because it's gonna be like, okay, it's sunny. Every day it's fucking sunny. Wow, big deal, right? It loses its appeal. Whereas if you have rain, something to, contrast that sunny day, it kind of gives more depth to that sunny day. It makes it more pleasurable, more, pleasant, and we get to appreciate it more. Okay, furthermore, most people's concept of pain is kind of pathetic, actually. Realistically, there are some countries where, there are such fucked up things going on that it's pretty incredible that we get to complain at all. I mean, most of our problems are pretty much insignificant. Let's say you live in Mexico, you can get killed by a cartel, or you live in North Korea, where you can't even raise your hand and give a proper personal thought without being judged, and it's just crazy, right? But if you live in a normal country, you have food, you have shelter, you have a family, you have a job or friends or whatever, hobbies. Realistically, your troubles, they might be tough, it might be tough for sure. Everyone has their problems, but if you look at it from a, neutral viewpoint, if you realistically think about all the crazy stuff going on in the world, you'll be surprised to realize that your problems are really not that significant, and you shouldn't expect it to be otherwise. Life is just a balance. You get positive emotions and you get negative emotions. That's just life. You can't really expect to have positive emotions constantly. That's just not going to happen. That's just not realistic. And I think that's good, because when you get pain, usually you get a lesson out of it. You start to think, okay, why did this happen? How could I have prevented this, right? What could I have done? And you just start thinking, and this might be just me, but I noticed that whenever that happens, you also get access to new resources. When you start thinking about the things that went badly, you start thinking why, and as a result, you find out new things that you didn't, think about in the past. You just start to realize, oh, look, this new book, it kind of speaks on this thing that I just experienced, okay? And maybe if I read the book, I'll be more experienced next time, and this problem won't occur again. I'll be a smarter and wiser individual. And so, really, when you think about it, it was all for the best, right? Every bad experience can bring a lesson, provided that you, reframe it like that in your mind. And that's just a personal choice that you have to make for yourself. Okay, so another concept that kind of grabbed my attention was it's so-called the tree analogy, right? So basically, when you develop your character, your personality, basically you have the tree that has, the height of the tree, and you have the depth, the roots of the tree, which basically you have, the growth has to be proportional. When the height grows, the root has to grow as well. Otherwise, the balance, the tree can tip over, can fall, and you kind of lose the benefit of the whole thing, right? So I think that's what happens with people like, successful child actors, right? They get success too quickly, and they don't have enough chance to go through the pain and the stress that's required to grow the depth, the roots, and as a result, when they grow older, they start using drugs. They become alcoholics. They get into horrible media scandals and all that stuff. And I think that's something that ultimately we want to avoid. I mean, it doesn't happen only to celebrities. It happens to pretty much anyone. It can happen to anyone. So what we want to do is basically have proportional growth as far as the height of the tree and the depth of the roots of it. It has to be proportional. Okay, so one last thing. What about those things that don't really bring some sort of lesson? I mean, let's say you lose a relative or something, horrible like that. What can you do in such a situation? What's good in this? Okay? And I don't really have a clear answer to that. I mean, I haven't really experienced something like that personally, but I know it can be horrible. And I'd say the only way you can really view this in a positive manner is to just think of it as a way, as an experience that strengthens your emotional immune system. Basically, you become stronger. You become a stronger individual, and you learn to deal with negative emotions. And realistically, the petty things that you worry on a day-to-day basis become so insignificant that you don't really care about them anymore, because you've gone through so many things. You've gone through so many hurdles, so many bad experiences, and you've experienced such pain that realistically the petty things don't matter. And one thing in relation to that is what I want to say is that you're always going to have problems. Always. Your problems are never going to go away completely. What you want to focus instead is on having problems of a higher quality. So you're always going to have problems, that's for sure, but try to reframe it so that the problems that you get are of higher quality, okay? And how do you do that? By getting better gradually, becoming a better person, by going through a lot, by trying new stuff out, by experiencing all sorts of things, bad or good. And realistically, almost every experience can be viewed as good, provided that you view the good ones as good ones. I mean, that's pretty easy, and the bad ones as good ones as well, because you get some sort of lesson, or they strengthen you emotionally. And that's what I think is the best way to view each experience that comes along your way.